Hi, cultural traveler. Nice to meet you. The Chinese culture that we'll be talking about today is shadow puppetry, 皮影戏。
大王四海拜佛求仙，这至今还不见回来。那混世魔王他时来侵犯，不知何时才能平安。
大王回来了！我骊山40多年，修得行满工程，学会了72变地煞术，108000里筋斗云，赐得我法名孙悟空。
The short video you just watched has shown you the shadow puppetry. Shadow puppetry is a traditional Chinese art with over 2,000 years of history. It is an art of storytelling. People tell stories using figures made of leather or cutouts. Artists behind the widescreen manipulate shadow figures, tell stories, sing and play instruments. The figures in shadow puppetry are flat, so the artist need to place them on a translucent screen and use light. Shadow puppetry is usually about Chinese folklore, history, mythology, and so on. Shadow puppetry is believed to first appear in China in the Western Han Dynasty. According to the Book of Han, Emperor Wu of Han was sad because of the death of his wife. One day, Minister Li Shaowong saw a child playing with a doll. Under the effect of light, the shadow of the doll appeared on the ground. Li was inspired by this and invented shadow puppetry. He made a figure of the emperor's wife, and the emperor stopped being sad after watching the excellent shadow puppetry. The successful development of shadow puppetry is based on those beautiful figures, but making those figures is very complex, usually requiring 8 steps. The first step is to choose the leather. The most widely used in China today is cowhide. The second step is to clean the leather. People must wash and soak the leather and remove the fur from the surface. The third step is to draw the design. The fourth step is to copy and portray the image on the leather with a steel needle. The fifth step is engraving. There are many knives used for engraving, sometimes more than 30. The weight of the knives varies. Not only that, different knives are used for different images. The sixth step is coloring. The method of coloring varies from region to region, but the dyes are almost and always made by the artists themselves. The seventh step is dehydration. This is a very crucial step. People need to get the temperature perfect, and the original color must be maintained during drying. The final step is joining. People need to connect the different parts of the figures with iron wires so that the figures can do a lot of movement. Shadow puppetry was once a very popular entertainment in China, and different regions of China had their local styles of shadow puppetry. In the early Qing dynasty, shadow puppetry was at its peak. There were many shadow puppetry teams. Those teams would perform for the public and the aristocracy in the palace. People would invite shadow puppetry teams, whether it was a festival, a wedding, or a celebration. However, with the development of computers, television, mobile phones, and other technologies, shadow puppetry is no longer the main form of entertainment for the Chinese. Although no longer as popular as it used to be, shadow puppetry still has great artistic value and needs to be preserved in today's society. Goddard and Chaplin both praised shadow puppetry, and many museums from other countries have collections of figures used for shadow puppetry. Shadow puppetry also influenced many of the art forms that were later born. In the history of China, shadow puppetry is quite special because it is not an art that only serves the aristocracy. People from all social classes loved shadow puppetry, which has accompanied people from different eras through happy times. Shadow puppetry will have the opportunity to show it to the world in the future.